You know, there's this incredible moment in any design process. It's where things stop being just pretty pictures on a screen and they start to feel, well, real. It's that point where you take a static idea and turn it into a living, breathing experience. Today, we're diving right into that milestone, building your very first clickable prototype.
Okay, so let's just cut to the chase with the one question that really, truly matters. You've spent hours, maybe days, on your wireframes. Every screen looks amazing. But here's the hard truth. You can't really know if a design works until someone actually tries to use it. And that's the huge gap we're talking about, the difference between how something looks and how it feels.
And this slide right here, it really just nails the problem. When your team is just staring at static screens, you're pretty much operating in a world of guesswork and assumptions. You're just viewing a possible solution. But the second you introduce a clickable prototype, everything changes. You're not just looking anymore. You're interacting. You're getting actual evidence because people can experience it. It's a massive shift from theory to practice.
All right, so let's break down that journey. In this first part, we're going to dig into exactly why we have to move beyond those flat, lifeless images and start embracing interaction as early as we possibly can.
Think of it like this, okay? A static wireframe, that's like the blueprint for a car. It shows you all the parts, the shape, the layout, everything. But a clickable prototype, that's the test drive. It's the only way to feel how the car handles, how it feels on the road. The blueprint shows you what it is, but the test drive lets you experience how it works. See the difference?
And this is where the real danger of relying on static designs comes in. It's just so easy to miss the gaps. You might have a forgot password link on the screen, but where does it actually go? Does that next button lead to a step that makes any sense? These kinds of critical flaws can hide in plain sight on a flat image, but they become glaringly obvious the moment someone tries to actually click through it.
So we get the why. Now let's get super clear on the what. What exactly is a clickable prototype at this point in the game?
So here's our definition. It's a functional model. It's not the final polished product, but it works. It takes those basic mid-fidelity wireframes, the skeleton of your design, and it stitches them together. The most important phrase here is first tangible version. This is the moment your design literally gets off the page and into someone's hands for the very first time. It's huge.
So what goes into this thing? And maybe even more importantly, what do you leave out? Look, the focus here is all about the essentials. We need the core structure, the main user flow. We need to be able to test the key interactions and make sure the pathways are logical. What we don't need right now are fancy visuals, final text, or a bunch of extra details. It's about the bones, not the clothes. This is what keeps you moving fast and focused on pure function.
When you boil it all down, it really comes back to one word: simulation. You are not trying to build the real thing. You're just building enough to convincingly fake it. And you're faking it to test one thing and one thing only: the design's logic. Does this flow make sense? Is it intuitive? That is the only question that matters at this stage. Okay, and now for the payoff. We know what a prototype is. We know why we need one. So what kind of incredible benefits does this thing actually unlock for you and your team?
Let's start with the big one. It's simple. This is your #1 absolute best tool for getting real, meaningful feedback super early. You get to validate your ideas before anyone even thinks about writing a single line of code. You're getting real human reactions when it's still cheap and easy to make changes.
And here's why that feedback is just so much better. When someone's just looking at a picture, they might say, well, I think this button might be confusing. But when they use a prototype, they'll say, I tried to do the thing, and this button stopped me dead in my tracks. One is an opinion, the other is hard evidence. Big difference.
And what this does is it kicks off this amazing engine for improvement, the agile feedback loop. You build the basic flow. You test it with real people. You learn from what they do. You refine the design based on that learning. And then you do it all over again, getting smarter and better with every single cycle. This is what makes a design great.
So what are the big takeaways from all this? First, you find those hidden problems before they become expensive coding nightmares. You massively speed up how fast your team learns. You get to validate your design choices with actual user behavior, not just what you think is right. And you set the stage perfectly for more in-depth usability testing down the road. And if you need a picture of the impact, look at this. The amount you learn from just reviewing a static image is fine. It's something, but compare that to what you learn from prototype testing. It is an absolutely massive leap. You're not just getting a little more info, you are fundamentally changing your whole understanding of what works and what doesn't. So we want to leave you with this.
A clickable prototype is way more than just a bug-finding tool. It's your first real chance to tell a story. The story of how a person moves through your world to get something done. It turns you from someone who just makes screens into a storyteller of experiences. So now that you have the power to build the flow, what story is your design going to tell?